Hi, this is Patty Newby. I'm the loan designer, and I want to share with you a couple of basic definitions when you're buying a house. Now, I'm not an artist, just mortgage designer, so please excuse my artwork that I'm about to share with you. The first definition I want to talk about is a survey. So this is your beautiful new home, and a survey represents your boundaries of your house, front yard, side yard, backyard. It's a piece of paper that a licensed surveyor has done, and it has a stamp and a seal on it, making it official. Your real estate agent will negotiate that the seller provide your survey for you. Now, there are a couple exceptions to that rule. If you're building a new home, a survey doesn't exist, so you'll need to order a new survey. If the seller has lost their survey, or if they have modified their property, for example, maybe they've added a pool or a porch, then you will still need a new survey. Who pays for that is between you and the seller, what you negotiate with your real estate agent. But when you go to the title company, you will get several copies of your survey. Now, when you put your paperwork aside after you've closed and bought your house, please don't lose that piece of paper, because when you go to sell your home, it's worth about $450 at today's rates. The next definition we're going to talk about is an inspection. And an inspection identifies what's wrong with the house. And there may not be anything, but we're going to check that out. You can hire whatever inspector you would like. I always recommend listening to what your real estate agent has to say, because they have a lot of experience in that area. The inspector is going to look at things like roof, the inside of your home, and the foundation. They're going to give you a 20 or 30 page report, and it will tell you what is wrong with the house. Some things must be repaired, and some things they'll let you know what could or should be repaired or might be needed in the future. You're going to want to share this with your real estate agent. At that point, if anything needs to be fixed, you and your real estate agent can ask the seller for those major items or anything that you desire to be repaired. Now, if there are items that might go out in the future, you may choose to forego those, but it's up to you. There are several things as a mortgage company that we look at that must be fixed. Foundation, roofing, anything that has to do with water or electrical issues, dry rot, termites, those major things that are safety issues. I had a house a few years ago that for a particular reason, the current seller had nailed the window shut. That was a safety issue, so we had to have that repaired before we were allowed to close on the mortgage. Now, there's a definition that we like to use called POC, paid outside of closing. I am going to quote to you what the down payment, closing costs, and escrows are that you'll need to be prepared for cash that you're bringing to closing. But there are a few other fees. One of them is the inspection. You're going to want to get that done. Inspections in today's world are running around $400 to $450, and for your larger jumbo homes can run a lot more. This is whatever you desire to pay, but you will write the inspector a check for that inspection. So I always budget around $450 for a non-jumbo house. Now, you may opt to get a termite inspection at that same time. Some inspectors do that. It depends if they're licensed. And the only product that requires that is our VA loans. Okay? So this is between you and your real estate agent. Discuss that with them and see if it's necessary. The next term that I like to discuss is appraisal. That says what is the value of your home based on what is sold in your neighborhood or across the street, a like comparable or a like comp, as we refer to in the industry. Let me give you an example. You may purchase a house for $300,000, and maybe the house will appraise for $301,000 or $304,000. If so, that's wonderful. You are allowed to share your appraisal with your real estate agent. Please feel free to do that. Legally, we are only allowed to send it to you. Okay? Now, on the flip side of that, your house might only appraise for $297,000, a little bit short of what you offered. In this particular market, right now, sometimes people are paying more than the house than it appraises for. If so, that is something that you and your real estate agent want to talk about. But depending on how you have written the contract, you do have a legal right to go back and ask the seller to reduce the price. Again, it depends on how you've written the contract. So I would advise sharing that with your real estate agent. Now, what is the cost of that appraisal? It really depends on the square footage, but they're about $450. If it's a rental home or a home that is larger square footage, that price is going to go up a little bit. When we send you the appraisal, we will also send you a copy of the invoice so you'll know exactly what that third-party person, the appraiser, actually charged. We put that amount on your credit card. So we're going to ask you for a credit card form, and about 24 hours after that appraisal is completed, it will be downloaded into our systems and we will run that through on your credit card. The last thing that I want to talk about is title insurance. What the heck is title insurance? Sometimes when you buy a car, you might go find the history of a car that you're getting ready to buy. Title insurance is very similar to that. The title company is a very important part of the mortgage transaction. They will go back and look at the history of your home. If your house is 2 years, 5 years, 10 years old, they will go back all the way in time and look to make sure there are no liens on the property. Was the previous owner recorded right? There's a lot more complexity to it than that, but that's the basic highlights. If there's a lien on the property or an issue with something that's going on today, it must be cleared up before we let you buy that house. We want to protect you. So once the title insurance and the research is done, the title company will literally issue you a title policy. Now when you see that on your paperwork, that is actually going to be broken down to about 5 or 6 different fees. Some of the fees are your fees, and some of them the seller will pay. Let me give you an example. I'm going to just make up some numbers here, okay? So your fees might be $450, you're the buyer, and the seller might have $1,800. Your real estate agent is going to negotiate for you, in most cases, that the seller pay the big portion of that, or the big portion of the title policy. Now, there are several exceptions to that. When you buy a new home, you typically pay that in some sort of form or fashion. And in a competitive market that we're in today, you might be in a multiple offer situation. So you may offer to pay for that. That is a completely normal thing to do in today's real estate market, especially in a multiple offer situation. But you'll have the choice. This is something that you and your real estate agent will discuss and figure out. So I will advise you what the pricing is, depending on which way you go, so that you know what your down payment would be and cash to closing. Always follow your real estate agent's recommendation. They're the ones who are taking great care of you and represent you legally. Those are some basic definitions. You can always reach me. We'll go over this in our consultation appointment, but my phone number is 214-532-8479 for more questions, or I'll be in touch with you soon. Thank you.